Hey guys, it's me, and I'm back with something just wanted to talk about and watch because I actually saw this yesterday on Twitter. A very very horrific incident happened yesterday, and a murder. I say it straight up, a very horrific murder yesterday, and I just wanted to watch this video about it because it is crazy of what America is basically turned into. Like, well, let's just start it. This is from Liberal Hivemind. I will leave a link in the description of his channel and the video. So yeah, let's go.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, every time you think you've seen the worst of it, another story comes along that makes your stomach turn. I'm sure you guys have seen the news, but if you haven't, let me quickly fill you in on the context. A young Ukrainian woman who fled the war to find safety here in America ends up brutally murdered on a Charlotte light rail. I mean, it's absolutely...
Yeah, that's what I saw online. I mean, that is crazy. You get out of goddamn war, bombs being exploded in your neighborhood. You come to America and you get killed. Anyways, like you get killed anyways. That's Jesus Christ.
insane when you flee a war zone, fleeing indiscriminate violence, not wanting to end up a statistic or a casualty. And so you flee to America and you end up suffering a similar fate that you were running away from in the first place. You came
Oh,
to
I said the
America
same
for a
thing I
better
said.
life and instead found the exact opposite, because once again, a violent repeat offender was allowed to roam free. A bloodthirsty psychopath taking her life for literally no reason at all. And you know, it's not just tragic, but it's incredibly infuriating, because it's the same
Because yeah, well, I think he's
story that we've been watching on repeat. Career criminals cycling through a broken justice system, let back on the streets until eventually it culminates in the most horrendous violence and crime that you could.
yeah. This is something. It reminds me of the freaking incident where this dude who was basically beyond repair. What the what the people what the case said or whatever. I forgot what it was, but they literally said this guy was beyond repair, and he was let out on the street. Like again, this is like his eighth time getting arrested. He almost tried to kidnap a kid, and they just let him go. I mean, this guy looks like a zombie. I mean, just it looks like really. How does this happen?
Imagine. You know, here we go again, more senseless violence perpetrated by yet again another individual who should
Like,
not
I
have
don't
been
even
let back
understand any
onto
of
the
this.
streets. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here.
Yeah.
We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so here's what happened. We've got Irina Zarutska, a 23-year-old who, from what I understand, was an aspiring model. She was working at a pizza shop in Charlotte trying to build a new life after escaping war-torn Ukraine. And on August 22nd,
Oh, North Carolina.
she got on the Lynx Blue light rail, and tragically and unfortunately, that's where she met her fate. We have CCTV footage that shows her sitting quietly, headphones on, minding her own business, and there's a man sitting next to her who's been now identified as DeCarlos Brown Jr., 34-year-old, who seems to sit there
DeCarlos Brown Jr. What is that bug tattoo on your chest, man? Jesus Christ.
and contemplate, and then for no apparent reason, he pulls out a knife and stabs her brutally in the neck. I can show you guys the video, but of course, a good chunk of it is going to have to be blurred. Every single
Well,
time I try
yeah.
to show you guys this stuff, the video usually gets dinged by YouTube, but, you know, we'll try to do our best here.
Chun? Okay, so that's I'm guessing the weapon right there. Jesus, I don't even want to see the actual footage because I haven't. What goes through your brain? I can't even. I gotta remember. You can't reason with people like this. They're insane. Like, how do you try to find out the pattern of an insane person? You can't, because what they do is off the walls. You can never find a pattern. They're crazy. That's just it. I mean, like, what what goes through your brain that you decide to do this? Like, oh, like this. Oh, she's sitting in front of me. Might as well just kill her. I mean, like, what goes through your brain that you just like? What is wired wrong, man? And ooh, I think that's blood on the floor. You can see it. Yeah, people are like, "What the fuck?" I'll be like, the hell? You're just walking around and no one's noticing, though.
I mean, total indiscriminate
Like,
psychopathic violence. She unfortunately bled out right there on the train.
I won't lie. This guy right here was like, should have at least noticed, but like, look at the pool of blood. But to be honest, you're in the train. You would never expect, if you're a normal person, you would never expect a murder to happen on a train. You, that'll be the last thing on my mind. So it would be very confusing to know what the hell's going on. This poor woman, man. Poor woman.
I mean, total indiscriminate psychopathic violence. She
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately bled out right there on the train. It's also a very odd scene. It seems like passengers either didn't notice or didn't know how to react. People are just sitting there, sat frozen, staring as this guy casually walks across the train. It seems as though he might have even cut himself in the process, as you can see droplets falling to the ground. It's obviously a very hard video to watch. It's a hard circumstance or situation to stomach in the first place. But now what makes it even worse is what I mentioned in the intro. This guy, this DeCarlos Brown Jr. fella, isn't some unknown character. No, in fact, he's very much known to law enforcement. Let's just go ahead and pull up his mugshot.
Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 mugshots, meaning 14 arrests. So we're like the judges or law enforcement or whatever. We're like, they let him out 14 times. What do you think he's gonna change it after the 14th? Like, oh, my life of crime. It's not really working out. Might as well just do something else. Like, no. Clearly, this person is crazy. Like, after not even the third time, the first time, you should have been like, yeah, we gotta keep this guy behind bars. Or you like, but 14 times? What in the actual hell?
Shots. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, one of the photos you can tell clearly isn't him. Now,
Well, okay, wait, I just realized that's not, that's a different person. But it will be, wait, so 13, well, he'll be 14 now. So the 13th time, the prosecutors or lawyers or whatever the hell the person was letting them out just was like, well, he looks sane. Like, what? It, I don't know.
some people have suggested he's been arrested 14 times, but I can only clearly identify 13 from these mugshots. But basically, he's a career violent criminal, a total antisocial nutcase. This was not his first violent crime. This guy's got a rap sheet that goes back years. Armed robbery, breaking and entering, threats, larceny, even a bizarre 9/11.
We need to bring back mental asylums. Like, this is someone you shouldn't even have letting out the third or second or third time. The third time is he did it. You should have just kept him there for years because this is clearly someone who cannot function in society.
Call claiming that he was being controlled by, quote, man-made material. Not exactly
Wait,
sure what
Wait, what?
robbery, breaking and entering, threats, larceny, even a bizarre 9/11 call claiming that he was being controlled by, quote, man-made material. Not exactly sure what that means, but
What?
that's just the reporting. But anyways, obviously, this
To
guy
be
was a
friend,
ticking time bomb. He wasn't well in the head. And I guess it really puts into perspective how deeply needed insane asylums are. It's time to bring back the asylums, just as President Trump is attempting to do right now, but without getting caught moving towards a tangent. This guy spent significant time in prison, and the system just kept spitting him back on the streets over and over again. And I think really what needs to be said, I mean, it's not just
why does me and a bunch of other normal people have to deal with this? The subhumans. It's not even subhuman. There's a monster right here. Why do we gotta deal with people like these in our day-to-day lives? Like, I mean, I don't want to like. Why would I need to always be careful when I'm going to public transportation or anything like this? Like, like just keep him in jail because clearly he does not function in real life society or just in society in general. Just he cannot function.
just for the sake of being partisan, I think it's true, this is a Democrat problem. Now, some people might be saying, well, North Carolina voted for Donald Trump, therefore it's a Republican state, but that isn't the case at all. The last governor and the new governor, both Democrats, and of course, Charlotte is a deep blue city with a Democrat mayor, Democrat council, yada, yada, yada. We've been through this a million times before. And so what
Sorry,
dominates in
yawned.
Charlotte politics is the same soft on crime worldview that says we need more social programs, more consultants, more social.
I see this a lot in New York too. There's so many social programs and stuff and all this other bullshit. Never works because some people are just born wrong, and like, or either grow up wrong. Clearly, this person was either born or grown up wrong because, like, look at his actions. I mean, like, when you've already tried all these methods and nothing changes, just throw it out the window because you keep doing it. It's just insanity. Clearly, it's not working.
Workers, more school lunch programs. That's how we're going to tackle crime, but never any actual accountability. The problem is soft on crime Democrat
Oh,
policies that continue to release these repeat offenders, these clearly mentally unstable, crazed individuals, back on the streets to reoffend over and over again. And the reality is Charlotte is in complete chaos, especially on public transit.
wait, let me. Do I have? Yeah, do I have autoplay on?
Keeping people safe on area buses and light rail trains. That's the focus of a special meeting called by Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles.
Lyles chairs the Metropolitan Transit Commission and requested that the commission meet on the heels of a homicide on the Blue Line just over a week ago.
Part of this meeting, which was sparked, is, like you said, the August 22nd killing of 23-year-old Irina Zatrushka.
Can't even say that on YouTube without it being censored. That is crazy. You got to censor murder. Well, I'm not censoring anything. I don't really care. But murder, all this other, like, can we not just be straight up with this?
On the Blue Line. She was allegedly stabbed by DeCarlos Brown.
Allegedly. Where's that? Where's the part? Allegedly. Like, allegedly stabbed. I mean, when there's video footage of it happening, I know they have to do it because of like legal reasons or whatever, but there's no allegedly in this. Like, look at that. I just hate them saying that. I know why they have to, but it's so dumb when it's blatantly obvious.
Requested that the commission meet on the heels of a homicide.
Now, Brown is currently charged with first-degree murder, but there have been plenty of other incidents on buses and the trains. Back in November of 2023,
Jesus
a rider was
Christ.
stabbed after getting into an argument with another passenger. Then in August...
So this has happened before. In the trains. And like, well, of course this has happened before, because we see it all over Twitter, but, well, X. And in the city I live in, New York City. It's a lovely place, I swear. Just avoid the meth addicts and crackheads and all that. Like, talking about that, I remember when I was think I was coming back from like some test or something. Going out of the train, there is a dude straight up doing meth right there out of the steps of the exit of the train. And just, there's no cops, no nothing. And I mean, like, doesn't this look insane? Like, I mean, the train station's already dirty enough. I don't want to deal with this. I mean, like, if he was smoking weed or something, I think no one would care. But this is someone who is literally doing some hard drugs in the biggest city in the country. I mean, like, and this is happens all over the place. I was walking back home. There's a dude straight up smoking meth. I mean, like, or I think it was cracker meth. I don't know. He was doing some hard stuff because he was acting crazy. And you know, he had the twitches and all that. But like, it's in the transit. Like, why do we have to deal with this? Why do normal people have to deal with this?
Of 2023, an off-duty security guard was involved in a fight that started on a bus and carried over into the streets of Uptown. And then in the
Jesus.
summer of 2023, there were 2 stabbings and a shooting in a 1-month span.
The moment that the transit system starts to become something where it's not considered to be safe is the moment in which you begin to lose riders, you begin to lose the momentum that you want to keep.
Now, CATS officials say that they are actively trying to increase their security force. According to CATS, there are currently 184 security officers, and the goal is to get that number up to 219 officers.
That's the current state of public transit in Charlotte. And you know what? It's really a freaking drag because public transit is supposed to be one of those core public services. You know, you go to countries in Asia like Japan and Singapore, and the experience is fantastic. You get on the train, you feel safe, the environment is clean, the people are clean. When it's done right, it's a great service for the people, especially for the people who can't afford cars, people who got to get to work. It's something that many people
Yeah, like me. I mean, like, I don't want to go on the. What little train could I pull out of? I don't want to go on the J train or any public transportation and have to deal. I have to look over my shoulder and make sure I don't get goddamn murked by some rando or some crazy person. I mean, like, come on. Why do I have to live like every day is like? Why do I have to live like every day isn't gonna be my last? Like, I'm gonna get murdered by some rando for no reason or someone to rob me. Like, I don't want to live like that. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't want to live like that. And it's because of these policies. And these policies are happening in these blue states. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, like, you don't hear this stuff in Florida or Texas, like, or anywhere else. You only hear it in these cities. I mean, in Chicago, they had like what 50, 48 mass shootings in Labor Day weekend. Not 48 mass. It was they had a lot of shootings there. It was 2 mass shootings. I think 7 people dead and like a bunch of people injured in 48 hours. How does that even happen? Well, of course I know why it happens. Is because these people don't enforce the law, or it's or suicidal empathy. I mean, like, I remember doing. I'll share a clip of that later, but or maybe do a video on that. Like doing a separate video about that. But this is just insane. Going through public transport and you have to be careful because you might die. I mean, like, what? What the fuck?
people rely on. But in places like Charlotte and across big cities in the United States, public transit has become hazardous. From people smoking crack in the back train to vicious freaking murderers engaging in indiscriminate violence, it's completely out of control. And frankly, the solution is simple, but if you listen to Democrats, they're still trying to figure it out.
You just arrest these people and never let them out of jail. And if you don't have any jails, just make another one. I mean, what's so hard about this? Hey, it's pretty obvious. You see someone who got murdered, you see the suspect, you know this is a person who clearly can't fit in society. You just put him back in jail. You just put him in jail and just keep him there. Or make an asylum and institutionalize them until maybe they get better, maybe not, who knows. But these people need to get out of, society. they can't live in civilization, so they must be removed. It's just pretty much it.
The mayor of Charlotte is now launching an investigation and effort into making public transit more safe. And what do you think that means? More consultants, more studies, probably appointing a new chief of safety, putting up more cameras. It's all a distraction. It's more academic.
If or inefficiently using tax money. I mean, like, not even needed because it doesn't work, and we know it doesn't work.
And bureaucratic nonsense attempting to look for solutions. But the solution is not complicated here. It doesn't require $1 million studies or academic panels.
And also, I didn't really hear about this story until I was just today scrolling on Twitter. I think it was today or yesterday. I don't remember, but I didn't hear about this in any other news site. I mean, no other one. And talking about that, let me actually get this screen up. Here it is. Oops, wrong screen. There we go. Gotta fix this a bit. Here it is. Here's a list of news networks who have not covered the Charlotte, North Carolina story. New York Times, CNN, Washington Post, MSNBC, God, that place, NPR, USA Today, I can't say that word, Reuters, Axios, ABC News, and PBS. And I remember the amount of but every single one wrote the story about the Daniel Penny story. I remember it was constant. I mean, like, they wouldn't shut up about it. But this, don't worry about it. It's nothing. I mean, like, seriously, it's despicable. I mean, it really is. All right.
The solution is to lock these violent people up after their first few offenses. Stop releasing these career criminals back on the streets. Stop pretending that every single criminal is redeemable, just a lost soul that needs to be brought back on the path. Because this naive, latte liberal worldview is getting innocent people killed. Not everybody is just an unfortunate case of their social circumstance, and even if they are, sometimes the people are just far too gone that we just simply cannot help them.
Yeah, some people are just, that's it. They're crazy. You can't fix them. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure back in, like, let's say 100 years ago or something, when someone was this crazy and loony, they just killed them. Because what can you do? Can't help them. At least we're putting them into a place that will try to help them. Well, back then you just kill them.
The solution is now stiffer penalties, crackdown on crime, less social workers and more police maybe sending the frickin' National Guard, just like they're doing at Union Station and other places in Washington, D.C., to finally put an end to the chaos. Enough is enough. And that's not to say that we shouldn't tackle the core social components. I'm not saying that there's nothing to be done in terms of fixing the broken public academic system or the social failures in many intercity communities and big Democrat cities.
Yeah,
and of course,
well,
fixing the most
major
important
problems
issue,
there.
fatherless homes. Those are all important things to focus on, sure, but you're not going to find those solutions overnight. And even if you start tackling those more core solutions, it's not going to fix the people who are already, again, too far gone. When a violent psychopath shows you who he is through his extensive criminal rap sheet, his violent history, you should believe him. And at some point, it's probably time to admit that it's time to go back to embracing policy decisions like the 3-strike rule. If you are consistently committing violent felonies, at some point you either belong in a prison for the rest of your life or in an insane asylum. If you prove to the world that you cannot function in civilized society, you should be removed from civil society. It's time for a wake-up call. This Democrat naivete must be made a thing of the past. I get it, we went through like a 20-year liberal era where the privileged woke university kids smoking weed and doing LSD had all these genius epiphanies about how we should run society, and we've very much followed that.
Yo, if we just, be nice to everyone, it'll just work out. Like, come on. Oops. It's watching something. But, we'll just help them out. It'll be fine. Like, we're nice to each other, and we're not bad. Like, it's just easy as that.
Model But these naive worldviews and these theoretical platitudes clearly aren't getting us the desired result. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's idea that if you stop enforcing crime, that the world becomes a green grass, white picket fence suburb obviously doesn't work in the real world in practice, and it's time to start admitting that. It's time to start going back to common sense and fighting for the law-abiding citizen, and frankly just giving up on these criminals. Because again, the downside, the consequence, is blood on the streets, and that has to be acknowledged. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
That was a pretty good video, and also just an unfortunate like situation. I mean, like, you get out of Ukraine, a place which is at war at the moment, and you die because of the lack of rules and lack of, enforcement in these states. I mean, like, that is just horrible, man. And like, she dies, but this lunatic is still here. What, like, come on. But yeah, I'll leave the link to the video and his channel in the description. You should check it out. Man, that's horrible. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.